What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to continue carving on this guy here. If this is your first time at this channel, first of all, welcome. Appreciate you being here. And second of all, I highly recommend you going back to the previous video, one uploaded last week, where part one of this series where I show how to lay out the pattern and block it, start to block this guy in. In today's video, we're going to continue on that process. A little more blocking in and start to quasi-shape things a little bit. Still won't be doing any kind of detail work in this video. Just kind of roughly laying in where all the parts and pieces need to be. Again, this pattern is available in my Patreon. If the link is down below in the description. This particular pattern I'm saving for my paid members of my Patreon only. It's $1 a month, or as little as $1 a month, and there also are free patterns available there as well. So check it out and let me know what you think. And without further ado, let's get cranking. All right, so where we left off last week, we had just kind of gotten things blocked in. I did do a little bit more shaping on this guy, but not much at all. Maybe 5-10 minutes worth, and we're just going to kind of continue along with that today. I'm still wanting to get this back angled a little bit more forward. We need to shape his booty here a little bit and kind of extend these legs up into that area. So let's just start. Let's start with that. I'm gonna grab this is a 3/8 number 9 gouge first of all. And we're just gonna lay these legs over, or kind of start to round that area over so that leg will extend up into that area. And when you're doing a pose like this, it's a little difficult, at least at first, to figure out, how to get the legs proportional. So I know I want his boots to come up to about right here. His kneecap's gonna be right here. So his thigh needs to be, something like that. So we're gonna make sure we put the back of that knee in right about there. And the pattern, we've got a little bit of a delineation there. If you've got a good bandsaw, have it tuned really well, you can get these patterns a little more close than I can with my particular bandsaw. But I kind of like making my patterns a little oversized and whittle them away down to the lines. And over here, this knee is also going to be slightly bent. So I'm going to get the impression right back there. Whoop. Just kind of get the idea of where the back of that knee is going to be. And I can use this tool to start slightly rounding this leg over as well. For his feet here, and this is, before I get too far into the legs, this is one thing I like to do is go ahead and shape the feet. So I'm going to draw just kind of a general foot shape here. I know I don't remember which issue it was, but in one of the fairly recent issues of Wood Carving Illustrated, Jerry McNulty had a great pattern in there, and he had, he showed an easy idea on how to make a template using a sticky note for the bottom of the feet. And that way you can get them even. And I didn't think about it till right now, so we're gonna wing it. This is just looking to get the general shape here. We'll even things out. This foot being bent the way it is, it's going to be a little more difficult, but with something like that, you know, if he's not standing with his heels locked together and, you know, legs side by side, you can get away with them being slightly different. Now, maybe not an extreme amount, but you know, if there's a small difference between these 2 feet, nobody's really going to notice. But I find that if I go ahead and shape the feet first and then start kind of working my way up the leg, it makes it easier for me to envision. And I'm going to go on either side here and just go right into where the back of that knee is going to be. I'm still keeping everything extremely boxy. You know, I'm starting to round things over just a touch, but not much. Let's see. Get right here with this eraser. Maybe not that. Let's go with a little bit bigger gap. Number 9. This is a 5/8. Just kind of hollow out that area right there where I can get that leg to extend up a touch more. Same thing on this leg. I'm just going to go right into where the back of that knee is going to be. Something like so. And we want to check, you know, kind of keep a constant eye on proportions. That's one thing, a piece I entered in the Charlotte show this year. That's some of the feedback I got from Jim Heiser. The legs just were a little bit different thickness, and it was just enough to throw the eye off. So that's something I need to be mindful of. So I've gotten to where I've used these dividers. I mean, these are some cheap ones I've had for forever and a day. I think I picked them up at Michael's or something 20 plus years ago. But you know, any set of dividers or anything just to keep your proportions the same are helpful. We want to check that both directions as well. That one there needs to slim down just a touch. All right. So let's start to shape his torso and whatnot a bit. And we'll begin by kind of laying in this shoulder. Now this is one area, guys, I'm talking specifically to you here, ladies. You can ignore this or whatever you wish. But guys, your shoulders aren't that broad. I'm sorry to be the one to tell you this. I know you've got that picture from when you were 19 and you had a little bitty tiny waist and it made it look like your shoulders were nice and wide. But the honest truth is they weren't. So stop making your carvings look like they're ready to step on the Mr. Olympia stage. Most people just don't have shoulders that wide, I'm afraid. So we're going to narrow these shoulders in a good bit here. And that's one thing I want to go for in this carving. I want this elbow to be wider than the shoulders. It's just another little thing, kind of giving you movement in every direction. Like he has the impression of walking forward while weight is pulling from behind, but we also want to look at this plane. And right now, most everything is kind of straight on. So we want to twist things here and there just a touch, and we can accomplish that with his feet a little bit. Once we get to where we're putting clothing on him, we can have that give the impression of movement, maybe his beard as well. But here on his arms is another place we can by just popping those elbows out a touch. And we're going to slim this torso down. He's going to have an ample belly there, but this is a little bit shorter pattern. And we also need to get room because I want some space between this arm and his torso. I want some light to shine through there. So we're going to just kind of dig that area out with the gouge here first and foremost. The less wood we have to remove right there, the easier that's going to be. I'm going to use this gouge right here to do the same thing. I'm just kind of cleaning some of that wood out to where we got room to work and don't have to take a huge bite out of there. We'll grab a different tool. It's kind of a hard angle to get to. Take my soft V. There we go. And while I got that tool in my hand, I'm just going to lay it on the side and kind of shape over here. We can start to separate that, or bring that leg up a little bit more. And maybe give it a little bit of a butt cheek back there. Now this one's going to have a more pronounced cheek on this side because this leg, that muscle is going to be extended and rolled under. So I'm not going to worry as much about, showing that butt cheek on this leg. Just one of those little things that you don't have to be a full student of anatomy, but if you just take time to learn little bits, about anatomy and kind of how the body operates, it will make a difference in your carvings. That's one thing. If you watch any of Dave Stetson's videos, or if you have, and I've never taken a class with him, haven't been able to, but from what I hear, if you ever take a class with him, that's, you know, it's almost like having a 300 level anatomy course. And I don't get quite that in the weeds on it, but there's a reason his carvings look the way they do. It's because he takes the time to make sure that they have a realistic base. Making a highly detailed carving is, I guess, to some degree akin to building a house. You got to have a solid foundation first. And while, yes, this is caricature art, which kind of lends to a more cartoony look, it still helps if you have that base set right. That'll make the overall piece look much, much better in the end. The book I recommended last week, sitting right here, drawing or the Human Proportions by Christopher Hart. Now I mentioned last week, this thing is a great resource when it comes to developing patterns, but also just carving in general, just kind of knowing proportionally how the body is supposed to look. Now, your finished piece doesn't necessarily have to be exactly proportionally correct. You can exaggerate and kind of amplify areas like I'm going to try to do with this guy and really have that belly sagging down there. And there's also, you know, there's going to be other proportional things that are a little off kilter with him because he's an elf. He's not technically a human. But the closer I can get to having those proportions correct, the better this piece is going to look. Same thing with this arm. I'm wanting a little bit of daylight in there. Not a ton, but if I can get this wood taken out on either side with the gouge, that will really, really help me to be able to do that. Now I'm going to grab this small saw fee. I'm just going to because I don't want to remove too much more wood on this side, and I don't want to take too much away from the arm right now. You could use, I mean, this is, I think, a 1/4 inch. You could easily use this like a 5mm veiner or any type of smaller gouge that you got to get in here and do the same thing. I don't want to go hacking away at that with a knife yet, because that's going to leave knife scars all through there. So the more wood I can get out of here with a gouge, the easier my life is going to be when it comes time to separate these arms. And we're probably not going to do that in this video, but I'm kind of just getting that foundation set for when it is time. Just clean that up just a bit. All right, we got that down pretty thin there. I can live with that for now. Let's get this torso shaped. Now, this is another area where, guys, I'm afraid to be the one to tell you this. Your belly sticks out farther than your chest does. And your chest just isn't that broad. Hate to be that blunt about it, but it's just the facts. So we need to bring this chest in and push it back, keeping in mind that this back, or his upper torso, is leaned forward a little bit. So that's all got to play together. So we're going to kind of shape this torso, pushing this chest back and in just a bit, keeping that belly kind of ample. And we're going to start kind of rounding this over as well. I'm going to grab my little eraser. Just being able to get into spots like that where a knife really can't get to easily. That's one of the biggest selling points on that tool for me. You know, this is a 1/2-inch version. This is the first one that I actually bought before they had the 1-inch version available. And the 1-inch version does get the bulk of my work when it comes to roughing out, but just being able to having this tool accessible to where I can get into some tighter spots is handy. This butt cheek needs to be sloped down toward the leg a little bit more. And we can make that one a little more pronounced, because that leg is This is just one of those areas that if you have knowledge of anatomy, it's handy. If you're dragging something like this, the posterior muscles, your hips or your glutes and your hamstrings that are going to be doing the bulk of the work. So you need to show that muscle actually engaged there. I'm not going to dig too much more into there until I get this arm separated. And you know what? We might be at a point we can go ahead and pop that one out. Let's see here. Just get rid of some more of this wood right here. That's close to popping through already, which is perfect. Now I want to make sure that when I cut this, I'm cutting from the torso side. I don't want to cut into that arm really any just yet. Block that back off just a bit. Pop loose. And we're through. So this is an area up here in this armpit. I want to be mindful that I don't have a hard 90-degree cut in there, because that's just not natural. So I'm going to use my gouge. In this case, it's a 5mm. I think this is an 9 or 11 or something like that. Really doesn't matter. Just something small that I can get in there and get that wood removed without putting a hard V-cut in. And that's still got a lot of cleaning up to do. That'll be fine. We'll get there. That arm's still pretty wide, but I want to leave plenty of meat for the hands and whatnot down the road. Let's see if we can get this other arm. Well, tell you what, while we're here, let's shape this up just a touch more. Just want to get right in there. Clean that back out. Now right back here, you can probably get away with a little bit sharper cut because that's going to be, pulled back. But I still don't want to make it too awful sharp. Got it opened up a bit more now. We can, yeah, that's not the tool I want. What do I want? Let's get this guy. Just use that to shape that roundness in for that torso. There we go. And there it is. Still got a little bit more shaping left to do there, but we'll clean all that area up. And that'll bring that upper arm out just a bit. And that's getting his torso kind of in a proportion that I want it to be in. Now right here, we want to be mindful that that armpit does not extend all the way up to the top of the shoulder. So gotta leave a little bit of meat right there. All right. Pretty happy with that. Just kind of square things back off, clean it up a bit. It shouldn't be what I'm concentrating on at the time, but it's hard to ignore that sometimes. That's fine. That's what it looks like. So we've got that arm separated. We've got a nice bend in the elbow now. The upper arm, you can tell is obviously being pulled back. We're still going to shape this shoulder up a bit. Narrow that down. And we really, we haven't started shaping this arm at all yet. Still boxy, still blocky. And really all we're going to do at this point is start to take, I want to separate the hands first. So let's put ourselves a stop line around there, and I'll show you why I'm going to do that down the road in a video, but I just want to kind of delineate that area. The idea I've got on how I'm going to handle the hands. So I want to leave plenty of wood there. And that elbow is going to be right about there-ish. There we go. Let's just get that squared away. That's looking better. Now, we'll take this from square to round, and that's just going to be, we'll start by knocking off these corners. And I'm going to put myself a pretty good stop cut in right there. Knock off those corners. On the inside, we're going to do the same thing. Take that corner off. Take advantage of our stop cut. Right in here, it's a little bit harder to get to. Might be hard to show you because that's where the crease of that the inside of that elbow is going to be. See if I can get this on camera. It's kind of hard to, I don't know that I can. Pop that upper arm out just a bit more. And I can go back and kind of soften that cut up with the gouge just a bit. There's that one. So let's see if we can get this other arm to cooperate and play ball. This one's going to be a little bit tighter to the body. But I got a little bit more meat on this hand that I can play with. Tell you what. Let me start by thinning that hand down just a touch. Again, I want to cut away from the torso side here, not from the arm side. And this is just going to be the lower arm. The upper arm's still going to be kind of snug to his torso there. Don't want to rush this process. And add a bunch of nasty knife scars in areas that are hard to remove them from. I got it to break loose right there. Now I can remove a little bit from the arm side here now that I can see what's going on. You've got to take your time. Do this just a little bit at a time. And this is probably going to be the last bit for this video. If I can get this separated. Let's see, I need just a small little gouge just to push in there. And this is a dockyard. These are fairly fragile tools, so you want to be mindful not to try to take away too much with them. But I'm just trying to get something in there to sever those fibers. There we go. That's pretty close to it right there. All right. Now let's just kind of clean that up. You know, not being aggressive with that dockyard, just pushing in there to clean that material out. And we need to round that torso back into that area a bit. I think that's where we're going to call it for today. Gained a good bit of ground here. I don't know how many more videos this project's going to take. We'll just keep working on it till it's done. Next time around, we'll continue to finish shaping this thing off. I may go ahead and start shaping this arm, getting it kind of where I want it to be, but it's just going to be the same process. Just knock the corners off, go from a square to an octagon to round. So we're just going to kind of inch our way along there. Same thing. I want to delineate my hand here. I want to leave, let's make sure we got those pretty close. Yep. I want to leave plenty of meat for that hand for the time being. But otherwise, it'll be the exact same as it was on the other arm. We're just going to knock the corners off and then start to round it from there. So this is going to be a good time for me to do the outro bit. So if you stuck around this long, appreciate you being here. If you wouldn't mind taking care of your social media tithing with a like or a comment or subscribe or hitting that subscribe button, I'd greatly appreciate it. That does make a big difference in the reach of the channel. The more people are tuning in, the more likely they are to continue to push it in the algorithm. So while I am not a YouTuber, it does help to know that people are watching and that the channel is growing. Helps me to helps keep the drive alive to keep it up. So if you wouldn't mind smashing those buttons down below, I do appreciate it. And until next time, happy carving. Be sure to keep your knife in the wood and have fun with it. Bye.